out of you. Say something else.
That is my answer to Spike Lee. Go to hell.
I think that when I first had to say, I've got to speak up and speak out.
The entertainment industry thrives on larger-than-life personas, and few are as polarizing as Tyler Perry. To some, he's a trailblazer who built an empire from scratch, a self-made mogul who gave Black talent a platform when Hollywood wouldn't. But to others, he's a figure wrapped in controversy, accused of exploiting the very community he claims to uplift. And now that controversy has reignited with comedians Eddie Griffin and Katt stepping into the spotlight, calling out what they see as a deeply flawed system of power and control, with Perry positioned right at the center of it all.
And people get caught up in the illusion of Hollywood. People really get caught up in this. And
let's start with Eddie Griffin, a man who's never been shy about speaking his mind. Griffin, whose own career has seen both triumphs and setbacks, has long been a critic of Hollywood's treatment of Black talent. He's pointed to shows like Malcolm and Eddie, a massive hit during its run, as examples of how Black-led entertainment is often used as a stepping stone for networks, only to be discarded once they've established themselves. He's labeled this the bait-and-switch tactic. Networks like UPN built their brands on the backs of Black creators, only to pivot away from Black programming once they'd achieved mainstream success. For Griffin, this isn't just a footnote in history, it's a recurring pattern, and he doesn't hesitate to lump Tyler Perry into this narrative, accusing him of perpetuating the same cycle of exploitation that Hollywood has used for decades.
Everybody's an individual. Of course, I think I am the greatest comedian on earth.
Right.
Otherwise, I wouldn't grab the mic.
Yeah.
But
Then there's Katt, a comedian who has built his career on raw, unfiltered truth-telling. Williams has always been vocal about the darker side of the entertainment industry, calling out the manipulation, exploitation, and systemic issues that often go unseen by the public. Recently, he's turned his sharp focus toward Perry, questioning the carefully crafted image of the man many see as a savior for Black Hollywood. According to Williams, Perry's meteoric rise wasn't just about hard work and talent, it came at the expense of others. In Williams's view, Perry has mastered the art of wielding his power to silence dissenting voices and maintain control, all while presenting himself as a benevolent figure who's simply trying to help his community. It's a narrative that Williams and others are no longer willing to accept at face value.
It had to be a choice 20 years ago that I'm not going to wear makeup or get Botox, even though I know them things will make me look better.
But why now? Why are Griffin and Williams speaking out at this moment? To understand their frustrations, you have to look at the broader history of Black comedy in Hollywood. Shows like Martin, The Jamie Foxx Show, and Malcolm and Eddie weren't just entertainment, they were milestones that brought authentic Black voices into the mainstream. They proved that Black stories could resonate with wide audiences, breaking barriers in an industry that often ignored or sidelined them. Yet, as Griffin has pointed out, these successes were often short-lived. Networks use these shows to gain credibility and build their audiences, only to abandon them in favor of programming aimed at different demographics. It's a cycle that left many Black creators feeling used and discarded, and Griffin believes Perry has adopted a similar approach under the guise of progress.
when they're asking you to do that doesn't agree with your nature, is the money worth that indignity?
right.
Perry's critics argue that his work, while undeniably impactful, often leans on harmful stereotypes that reinforce rather than challenge the status quo. Take Madea, for example, the no-nonsense gun-toting grandmother who became Perry's signature character. To some, Madea is a tribute to the strong matriarchs of Black families, a figure of humor and wisdom who represents resilience. But to others, she's a caricature, a one-dimensional portrayal that reduces Black womanhood to a series of jokes and exaggerated behaviors. This isn't just about artistic choices, it's about the broader implications of those choices. By leaning into stereotypes, Perry's work risks perpetuating the very narratives that Hollywood has used to marginalize Black voices for decades.
But I still think a lot of stuff that's on today is coonery and buffoonery.
And then there are the whispers, those behind-the-scenes stories that paint a much darker picture of Perry's empire. Insiders have alleged that Perry's insistence on maintaining control over every aspect of his productions leaves little room for collaboration or innovation. He famously writes, directs, and produces most of his projects himself, a feat that some admire as a testament to his work ethic. But others see it as a way to sideline other voices, ensuring that Perry's vision is the only one that makes it to the screen. Even more troubling are the claims that Perry has used his influence to blacklist those who challenge him, with some alleging that he's quick to shut down dissent and protect his image at all costs.
We'll have 2 or 3 media outlets that control what it is that people see. Now, any piece of media that's could become viral and everyone will get to see it, regardless of whether CNN chooses to air it or not. Do you agree?
Hey, couldn't have said it better myself.
This brings us to Monique, whose falling out with Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels has become one of the most talked about feuds in Hollywood. Monique's story is a cautionary tale of what can happen when someone dares to say no in an industry that thrives on compliance. After her Oscar-winning performance in Precious, Monique refused to participate in unpaid promotional campaigns for the film, arguing that she'd already done her job and deserved to be compensated for additional work. Her decision didn't sit well with the film's powerful backers, including Perry and Winfrey, who Monique claims used their influence to label her as difficult and effectively blacklist her in Hollywood.
We've done the movie. I don't need to campaign for you now to say, I want this trophy. I've done the movie. I've done my part.
The accusations against Perry go beyond mere professional disagreements. They speak to a broader issue of power and control. Monique has alleged that Perry personally badmouthed her to other directors, ensuring that she would struggle to find work. These claims have been met with silence from Perry, a move that many see as an attempt to avoid accountability. But Monique isn't backing down. She's taken her fight public, calling out Perry and Winfrey during her comedy shows and interviews. Her words are raw and unfiltered, a stark contrast to the polished image that Perry presents to the world. Eddie Griffin and Katt Williams see Monique's story as part of a larger pattern, one that highlights the ways in which power is wielded in Hollywood to silence dissent and maintain the status quo. For them, Perry represents a paradox, a man who has created opportunities for Black talent, but has also perpetuated the very systems of exploitation he claims to be fighting against. It's a complicated legacy, one that raises difficult questions about what progress in Hollywood really looks like and who gets to define it.
I fulfilled my contract. Now, if anybody else wants me to do anything else, there's a price to that, because what we're not in is slavery.
As the accusations continue to mount, the conversation around Tyler Perry's role in Black entertainment is becoming harder to ignore. For Griffin, Williams, and Monique, this isn't just about settling personal scores. It's about challenging a system that has long prioritized profit over authenticity. And for Perry, it's a moment of reckoning, one that will likely shape how his legacy is remembered in the years to come.
Are you trying to tell me to do something that I'm not contractually obligated to do?
The story of Tyler Perry's rise to prominence is one of hard work, determination, and undeniable talent. But as the spotlight grows brighter on his empire, the shadows seem to deepen, revealing cracks in the carefully constructed image. If Section 1 highlighted the murmurs of discontent from Eddie Griffin and Katt Williams, Section 2 dives headfirst into the whirlwind of controversy surrounding Monique and the broader implications of Perry's actions. This is where things get messy, personal, and downright explosive, so buckle up because we're about to unravel a web of power, betrayal, and unspoken truth. Monique's fallout with Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels wasn't just a professional disagreement, it became a full-blown public spectacle that exposed the underbelly of Hollywood's power dynamics. Imagine this: you deliver a performance so powerful, so raw, that it earns you an Academy Award. That's exactly what happened with Monique and her role in Precious. Her portrayal of Mary Lee Johnston, the cruel and abusive mother of the title character, was hailed as one of the best performances of the decade. But instead of her Oscar win opening new doors, it slammed them shut. Behind the scenes, Monique's refusal to campaign for the film set off a chain reaction, one that she claims was orchestrated by some of the most influential names in the business.
You never worked with me. We never worked together. When we did Precious, you came on after we said, cut, that's a wrap and it's over.
Let's break it down. In Hollywood, awards campaigns are a big deal. Studios spend millions lobbying for votes, organizing screenings, and sending actors to talk shows, press junkets. But here's the catch. Actors often aren't paid extra for this work, especially on smaller budget films like Precious. For Monique, this was a line she wasn't willing to cross. She had already been paid a modest fee for her role, and she wasn't about to sacrifice time with her family or her own career commitments for unpaid promotional work. It was a principled stand, but it came at a steep cost. Monique says that her decision led to her being labeled as difficult by Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels, three of the most powerful figures in Black Hollywood.
The man has a huge audience, and Tyler's very smart. You know what he's done. He started out, with these plays and...
Now, let's pause for a moment and consider the weight of that word, difficult. In an industry where perception is everything, being branded as difficult can be a career-ending label. And Monique wasn't just labeled difficult, she says she was blackballed. According to her, Tyler Perry went out of his way to warn other directors not to work with her. She even claims that Daniels told her outright, "You've been blackballed." And while Daniels eventually apologized for his role in the situation, Perry and Winfrey have remained largely silent. That silence, Monique argues, speaks volume.
Did that ever happen? Did he ever come to your defense?
No, we've never heard Tyler Perry say Monique did nothing wrong.
But Monique didn't stay silent. In fact, she's been one of the loudest voices calling out what she sees as hypocrisy and betrayal. During a particularly fiery moment, she revealed that she had secretly recorded a phone conversation with Tyler Perry. In the recording, Perry allegedly admitted that Monique had been treated unfairly and promised to make things right. But here's the kicker. Nothing ever came of it. Monique says Perry backed out of his promise, and she's been calling him out ever since. "I want Tyler Perry to publicly apologize," she said in an interview. "Not privately, not behind closed doors, but in the same way he tried to humiliate me." The situation escalated further during Monique's stand-up shows, where she turned her frustrations into comedy gold. Her performances became a platform to air her grievances, and she didn't hold back. She slammed Perry, Winfrey, and Daniels in no uncertain terms, accusing them of exploiting their power to silence her. At one point, she even got the audience involved, leading them in chants that left no doubt about her feelings toward the trio. It was raw, unfiltered, and deeply personal.
I've never met so many cowards in our black men in show business.
But Monique didn't stop there. She also took aim at Oprah Winfrey's seemingly untouchable reputation. In one of her most controversial rants, Monique questioned the authenticity of Winfrey's image, suggesting that behind the scenes, she's far from the benevolent figure she portrays. Monique even brought up Winfrey's close relationship with Gayle King, hinting at rumors that have swirled for years. "I'm too old to be scared of Oprah," Monique declared during one performance. "I'm too old to hold back the truth." Whether you agree with her or not, one thing is certain: Monique isn't afraid to go where others won't.
But when it came time to say it out loud, Oprah Winfrey went totally silent.
The fallout from Monique's public crusade has been polarizing. On one hand, she's been praised for her bravery and willingness to speak truth to power. On the other hand, her critics argue that her approach has been too aggressive, too confrontational. But Monique has made it clear that she doesn't care about being palatable. In her eyes, the stakes are too high to worry about diplomacy. "This isn't just about me," she's said. "This is about every black woman who's been told to stay quiet and play nice." And that brings us to the broader implications of this feud. Monique's story isn't just about one actress fighting for her career. It's a reflection of the systemic issues that plague Hollywood. It's about the power dynamics that allow influential figures to silence dissent and control narratives. It's about the double standards that punish black women for speaking out while rewarding others for the same behavior. And it's about the ongoing struggle for representation and fairness in an industry that has historically marginalized black voices.
He has to apologize.
But that'd be a lie.
But what about Tyler Perry? How does he fit into this narrative? For many, Perry represents a paradox. On one hand, he's undeniably created opportunities for black talent. His productions have launched the careers of countless actors, writers, and crew members, and his studio has become a hub for black creativity. But on the other hand, his critics argue that these opportunities often come with strings attached. They point to his tendency to control every aspect of his projects, from writing and directing to casting. While this hands-on approach has been praised as a sign of his work ethic, it's also been criticized as a way to stifle Tyler Perry's legacy continues to unfold, it's clear that the conversation is far from simple. So let's keep the discussion going. Do you think Perry's contributions to Black entertainment outweigh the controversies surrounding him? And how do you feel about the allegations made by Monique, Eddie Griffin, and Katt Williams? Are they valid critiques or unfair attacks? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more celebrity gossip and insightful discussions. Until next time, stay tuned and stay curious.